Hello, everyone, and I welcome all of you to this particular session that the Rotary Club of Bombay West is hosting for all you young kids. What is more better than a festival in India? And when we talk about festival, the biggest and the most celebrated festival, Ganesh, which is just with us right now when we are celebrating it in the virtual lockdown mode or in a very small size, only and only so that our friends, our family, and everyone can be safe and we all have to fight this pandemic together. What happens next is something very interesting. We were thinking that how can we make you understand what is Ganesh? How did Ganesh come into existence? Or what is the relevance of celebrating Ganesh? And there are some interesting facts that you will come to know. And I think when we are in the virtual and the lockdown mode, learning has been the paramount of thing for everyone. We've all started to do online courses, online learning. So why not learn about Ganesh? So here we came up with this topic, why Ganesh? And I am telling you, you will know so many interesting facts about not his life story only, but how do we celebrate Ganesh again and again in the same year? And that's what we have with us, a very well-read person, Dr. Kavita Rege, who is going to take us through the journey of why Ganesh. And this is a question that comes to our mind every time. Now, let me tell you something. Who is Dr. Kavita Rege? She has been into the education industry for 20 years and she has been the ex-principal of Sathe College, one of the very prestigious college in Mumbai. She is the person who has done her PhD and she goes on various platforms to speak as a speaker. When it comes about her knowledge and her ways of doing different learnings, it's highly enriching for all of us to know from her. When we are talking about this particular topic, she actually has traveled the whole world and she has really been to different parts. She is a Rotarian of the Rotary Club of Bombay West, and she is a very senior person in the whole Rotary. She comes with a great exceptional experience in her career, and she has been the first person to do a couple of things in her life journey as well. But to know from her about why Ganesh is again a very great moment because when you see her PPT, she will take you through the Ganesh Puran, which is one of the most amazing, well read scriptures that she has been through. And to address that, I must say how better we can celebrate a Ganesh Chaturthi with knowing why Ganesh. So, with that, can I please invite Dr. Kavita Rege to please come on the screen and address the crowd and then share your screen.
Thank you, Apurva, for such a nice introduction. And namaskar to all of you, my dear children. And yeah, why Ganesh? Isn't it? Because this is something which we all have been celebrating for years together. And yeah, is this fine now, Apurva? You can see the screen properly?
Yes, very well.
Yeah. Okay, children. See, we celebrated Ganesh Chaturthi this year on 22nd of August. Some of you must have brought Ganesh idol at home and prayed to go Lord Ganesh. Must have kept it for maybe 1.5 days or 5 days. And some of you who have keeping it for 10 days would immerse the idol on 1st of September. Just, yeah, that is how it goes. Now, why do we worship Ganesha? Why is he so important? We are going to learn about it today. Okay, Ganesh Chaturthi, that is the fourth day in month of Bhadrapad, which is the sixth month in Hindu calendar, and we install these idols. But is it that Ganesh is worshipped or considered to be born only on one day? So, very interestingly, we celebrate his birthday 3 times a year. Can you believe that? Isn't it very interesting to have a birthday celebration 3 times in a year? My God, gifts and all that. This is one when we do it, but before that, in the Vaishak month, which is the second month of Hindu calendar, on Vaishak Purnima, he is called as Pushtipati Ganesh. Now, Pushtipati Ganesh, this roop of Ganesh is considered to kill the demon, okay, Durmati. This Durmati demon was troubling Parvati and Shiva. Now imagine, Shiva and Parvati also can be troubled, but the demon was such that he was troubling them. So Parvati told Ganesh to kill him. Now on this Pushtipati Ganesh Pujan, the Ganesh idol is made of atta. Okay, quite unusual. And in Bhadrapad month, this Ganesh is supposed to be eco-friendly. Okay, it is worshipped to have a very good crop, and essentially at a farmer's level it is celebrated. So this is called as Parthiv Ganesh. Now what is Parthiv Ganesh mean? Parthiv is made from Prutha, is Prithvi. So we make an idol of, from this clay is obtained from riverside. People go to the riverside, get that fine clay from there and make a nice idol and install it at home, and they pray to the Lord so that the Pancha Prana Pratishtha is done there, and then they start worshipping this god. So this is Parthiv Ganesh, which is considered to be an eco-friendly Ganesh. Now there is one more celebration which happens in Magh, month of Magh. On Magh Chaturthi, we have Tilakunda Chaturthi, it is called as. We have the idol of either metal or even from anything that you have. So even from gobar, some of the farmers and all make that idol. Now this, here the celebration is because this Ganesh used to sit on Mayur, okay, and he killed the demon Kamalash. So that is why he is considered to be a Mayuresh Ganesh, and his temple is mainly in Morgaon in Maharashtra. So now this is an interesting story that 3 times we celebrate this Ganesh festival, but most popularly it is of course celebrated on Bhadrapad Chaturthi. And this year also we did that, and next year also we will be doing it according to the Hindu calendar. It will fall in month of September. So we started celebration on large scale. When did we do that? By the way, before that, I'll just tell you, for Ganesh, there is a mantra, okay? Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha. Now, Gang is just one Ekakshari mantra for Ganesh. So even if you cannot recite the whole one, if you say Gam Ganapati, he doesn't really demand anything much. He is happy that you are remembering him. Otherwise, Gang Ganapataye Namaha is the Ashtakshari mantra, which is generally used to pray to Lord Ganesh. Now let's see. These birthday celebrations, as I said, Vaishak Purnima, Bhadrapad Chaturthi, and Magh Chaturthi that I talked about. Where did I get this information from? From Ganesh Puran. Or there is one Mudgal Puran as well. So these are Purana. If you are familiar, we have 4 Vedas. Ved, then we have Puran, then we have Upanishad, Upapuran also. So all the information about our old scriptures is written in these Purans. So if you, when you grow up and if you want to read, and all of them are in Marathi also, Hindi also, English also, translations everywhere, originally were in Sanskrit. So you can always read that. And as I was talking about Moreshwar or Mayur Ganesh, we have Ashtavinayaks all over Maharashtra. Now, this are 8 Ganesh idols which I'll just quickly tell you. Lenyadri is one place, Siddhatek is one place, Ballareshwar at Pali is one more. Then in Ranjangaon, we have Mahaganpati. Trambakeshwar, near Trambakeshwar, we have another Ganpati. So these are 8 Vinayaks or Ashtavinayak as they call. They are celebrated or worshipped all over Maharashtra essentially. Now, who started the public celebration? Why did he think that Ganesh festival was necessary? Was Lokmanya Bal Gangadhar Tilak. You remember him? On 1st August, you must have had some celebration in his memory. And he was the one who asked for Swaraj. Now, he was a great freedom fighter. And what he thought, that time, those were the times when Britishers were ruling India, and Britishers would not allow people to get together. They thought that people, if they get together, they will become strong and they might want to fight the Britishers. So they had put a curb on any get together. But if it is a festival, then nobody can stop. So Lokmanya Tilak came with an idea that we will start celebrating Ganesh festival on a very large scale. Okay, we'll invite all the people together and we will sort of celebrate it on a large scale. So that's one ruse to come for people to come together. So what he did was Kasba Ganpati in Pune was the first Ganesh festival which started and he was the one, he thought of an idea that every day he will have some good speaker or some folk art form to educate people, because even through art and culture you can educate people. So what he was trying to do was, through the thought-provoking speeches, he was trying to infuse the idea of fighting for your freedom. He wanted to awaken people that you are being ruled by Britishers, which is they are oppressing you, so you have to fight for your own freedom. So that is how he started doing that. And also, actually, I'll tell you, after 6 months usually comes Shivaji Jayanti. So these are the 2 festivals he started to celebrate on large scale, and that is where, so this was a great idea. So he used this platform of Ganesh festival to educate people, to infuse ideas in them, to inspire them about the idea of independence, to fight for independence struggle. Okay, so that is how the whole process of Ganesh festival on such a public celebration began. Now you all know that it is celebrated on such a big scale that everywhere you see, in Bombay itself, Mumbai itself, we must be having so many Ganesh pandals. You all must have seen Lal Bagh Sa, then Ganesh Galli Ka Raja, and Vile Parle Ka Raja, and all that. So many Ganesh idols, beautiful ones, are celebrated, felicitated, and it's such a beauty to see those pandals and to visit those idols. It's a lovely experience. This year we couldn't do it, but I'm sure next year we are going to have a great time celebrating it. How do we do the puja? Because see, you all know that we collect red colored flowers, hibiscus flowers are generally used. Then we have all kinds of leaves. Then we also have kevda, which is a green, yellow-green colored leaf, which is a very nice fragrant leaf. Kamal we use. Okay, so all these typical things we use. Why do we collect all these things? It is, see, you can see in the picture also, this Ganesha loves all the colors. He loves the beauty and is a great with nature. Now, the flowers and leaves, why do we collect them? Is because these flowers and leaves are medicinal value. Do you know what hibiscus is particularly used for? Hibiscus leaves and the flowers mainly are used to color your hair. Your hair, if you make an oil out of hibiscus flowers, your hair would remain nice and black. The leaves that we use in Ganesh Pujan, as well as he asks you to collect leaves from the garden. That means your garden must have all these leaves. What do they mean? This garden, Why should it have all those? Because majority of these plants had medicinal value. So when you go to collect the leaves, you understand the medicinal value of these plants, and you are also connected with nature. You preserve the nature, because then you plant those many trees or plants in the garden and collect those leaves. You have durva. Durva are supposed to have a very nice cooling effect. Durva is the grass which has got three prongs, you know. So it's a kind of symbol of Trishul also. Just one day before Ganesh Chaturthi, we have Haritalika celebration. Now, what is Haritalika? Harit means forest or jungle, and Alika is a friend. So, ladies or girls with their friends collect the patri, 16 types of leaves, and she actually worships the goddess Sati, who was Shiva's first wife. Why is it done? They say that to get a good husband, you have to pray to Lord Shiva and Sati, because Sati did a lot of tap to get Lord Shiva, and she finally got him. So that way, so it is very interesting story that Shiva and Sati, you know, Haritalika Pujan is done a day prior to Ganesh festival. Okay. Now, what are the stories of his birth? There are lots of stories, very interesting ones. How was he born? The Shiva, he was, what happened? For the very first story, how he got the name Gajanan. You know, Shiva had gone out for Shiva and Parvati's son. Shiva had gone out for some work, and Parvati actually wanted to take a bath. Those days, people used to stay in caves. They didn't have the doors to lock and all that. So she said, now who will guard the door? So she thought about it, and then, you know, before bath, those days, ladies used to have a paste of chandan, that is sandalwood, and haldi, turmeric paste they used to put on their bodies for beautification. So she had put that kind of paste on her body, and then she was rubbing it out and removing it. So she made a small idol of that, and with her power, she put pancha pran in that. So the baby became alive. And she told him that, Ganesh, you please guard the door for me, and I'm going for bath. Don't let anyone come inside. Ganesh said, fine, okay. So he was guarding the door, and Parvati went for a bath. It so happened that Shiva finished his work a little early and came back. And in front of the cave, he saw a boy sitting. He was wondering who this boy is. But the boy wouldn't let Shiva inside. Like, Shiva said, this is my house. I want to go home. The boy said, nothing doing. My mother is taking a bath. You can't enter. Shiva got very angry, and he actually wielded his Trishul. Ganesh was no less. He also started fighting in that. Shiva just slashed his head. Hearing the commotion, Parvati came out. He said, oh my God, my baby is gone. Where is, wow, what will I do now with my baby? Where will I find a head now? Shiva then realized what he had done. Parvati told him. He felt very bad. He said, don't worry, I'll do something about it. So he went into the forest and he found head of a baby elephant. He just picked it up and brought it back and put it on the head. So now they also said that Narad Muni also came that time, and Parvati said, but this is not my son. He had a nice head. So Narad Muni said that don't worry, he is going to be the most brilliant person on this earth. So he's the wisest of all of us. So don't worry, though his head is of a gaja, that is an elephant, he will be called Gajanan also, but don't worry, he is going to be the great Lord everywhere. Then Parvati was solaced. He is also called as Ekadanta, because have you seen carefully how his murti looks? It has one big tusk and the other one is small, broken one. So he is Ekadanta. I'll tell you a story about that as well. But before that, let me tell you, there is one more story of his birth, you know. Parvati and Shiva had one son, Kartikeya. And then the second son was born, Ganesh. And Parvati her joy knew no bounds. And she was inviting everyone to come and bless her son. So of course everyone was coming blessing the sun, and she just forgot that Saturn, okay, the god Saturn has some special powers. She invited Saturn also without realizing what it could be. Saturn looked at it and the baby's head got burned. Parvati was devastated. She went to Brahmadev. She said, "What has happened? I am so sorry. I didn't realize that this will happen. But will you please do something about it?" So Brahmadev said, "Okay, get the head of any animal, put it on that, and your baby will come alive." So she got the head of, she went to the forest, but she got the head of a baby elephant only, put it on that. And that's how Gajanan was born. Okay. So Gajanan has many names. Ekadanta, Bhalachandra, Ganapati. Ganapati means Gana is the army. He was an army man also. You know, he had Swami Samartha has said, who was Shivaji Maharaj's guru, that he had an army of 60,000 soldiers, you know, that kind of army Ganapati had. Or Ganadhish also means the same thing. Or Vinayak also means a fighter, okay, a warrior. So he was a warrior. Vakratunda, it's a different name, isn't it? You might feel it's a, is the trunk, because of the trunk he is called Vakratunda? No. Vakratunda means, Vakra is people who are vakra or bad. You know, they don't behave properly. So Ganesh, Tunda means he hits them. So Vakra Tunda is a different name altogether. So these are his various names. So now what are the weapons that he carries? This Ganesh, how many hands does he have? Okay. Now why do we worship it's such a mighty God? We have to worship him. He has 10 hands. What do we mean by understand by 10 hands? Means he is so powerful that as if he has the power of 5 people. So he has 10 hands. We have just 2 hands, but he has 10 hands. So power of 5 people he has. So what weapons does he carry in all his hands? Ankush, that is curb. Ankush is something which is used to control the elephant. Okay? But for controlling means that you are trying to control your mind, you are trying to control your actions. So that is the significance of this particular weapon of this warrior Ganesh. Pash is the loop which you can put around anyone and hold. Again, control. Parashu is a kind of axe, you know, used to hack wood, or it is used to hack people also. Bow and arrow, of course, you know. Vajra was the weapon of King Indra, that also Ganesha has. Kamal, he holds the Kamal in his hand. Why? Because it is a significant thing, that Kamal is a beautiful thing. Though it grows out of the mud, it just looks beautiful. It's a symbol of beauty. And even if it grows in the mud, it doesn't have one bit of that dirt around it, but the color, vibrant colors of Kamal and the beautiful perfume, the super fragrance that the Kamal has, it attracts all the bees. And do you know something? It is considered that Kamal beach stays dormant in the soil for even 1,000 years. That's something amazing. So this kind of like this, that is why he has chosen Kamal as a very special flower. He likes Modak also, which is like I like sweet things. But Modak has another symbol in Sanskrit. We call Mod means Ananda, you know, happiness. So Modak is things which give you happiness. Ganesh is one. He wants to distribute or make everyone around him happy. That is why we worship Ganesh, you know. He is one who can protect us also, and who is the Lord of beauty also. At the same time, he wants to make us and see that everyone is happy. Okay, he has Danda also, that is a stick in his hand. Khadga is a kind of sword. Gada is like, you know, Bhim used to use Gada. So these are the weapons of this warrior. It is considered that in Satyug, Ganesh had 10 hands. In Treta Yug, he was using just 6 hands, they say. Nowadays, we see the idols with 4 hands, with Kamal, Modak, Ankush, Pash, and all that. But you know, these pictures change. But he is a very powerful god. And he is also a Buddhi Dev. What is Buddhi Dev? God of wisdom. Why do we call him God of wisdom? It is that he has learned 14 vidyas and 64 kalas. Kala is art forms. So he has learned everything. So that is why he can dance, he can play lots of musical instruments, he can act. Okay, he is a very he can write script. You know, Devanagari script is the one script devised by Lord Ganesh. And when did he do that? Do you know the story of Rishi Vedvyas? Rishi Vedvyas wanted to script Mahabharata because Mahabharata had happened. It's a kind of history. So he said, for all the generations to come, they should know about what we have, what is our history. So he said, I would like to write down this Mahabharata story on a Bhurja Patra, that is the leaves. Now, who will write? Who is the best script writer? Of course, naturally, Ganesh being the most brilliant one, he was chosen. But Ganesh was no less. He told Vedvyas, okay, I'll be your script writer, but then you should never stop. You should continuously dictate. Now, that's a tall order, isn't it? Continuous dictation for such a huge epic is very, very tough. But Vyas, of course, was a smart person. Vyas said, okay, Ganesh, I will dictate continuously and you will have to write continuously. But you must understand everything that I tell and then only you write. So what Vyas used to do, you know, whenever he wanted to take a kind of little break and think, he would make the most difficult verse at that time so that Ganesh takes a little time to understand. So that is how. But Ganesh wrote it in Devanagari script. Do you know the beauty of Devanagari script is how we write our Hindi and Marathi in that. Now that script has a very uniqueness. It is pronounced the way it is written. That's the easiest way of scripting anything. So Devanagari script has a very special meaning, you know. And here only I'll tell you another story. People say that, people means the Puranas say that he became Ekadanta while writing. Why? What happened was, this was the condition of Vedvyas. And Ganesh, when he was writing furiously, his pen broke. Now, what does he do? So he broke off his tusk and started writing with the tusk, you know, on the Bhurja Patra or the leaves. So that is why he is called Ekadanta, because of that as well. There is one more small story about fight with Parshuram, and Parshuram throws the Parshu on Ganesh. And Ganesh, because he knew that this Parshu was gifted to Parshuram by Lord Shiva, who is Ganesha's father, he didn't want the Parshu to fall down. So he lifted it on his tusk, and that's why the tusk broke, they say. But these are nice stories from Mudgal Puran. Now he is considered Vignaharta warrior because you know what? Whenever we go for war, we have to have different sections of army. So it is called as 20, every 20 soldiers is one Nayak, and 20 Nayaks have Adhinayak. 20 Adhinayaks have one Mahanayak, then 20 Mahanayaks have one Vinayak. So like that, you know, he is a Vignaharta warrior. And also, when he used to go for war, he of course wants his kingdom to be protected very well. So we have Riddhi and Siddhi. So these are the two goddesses who manage, sorry, who manage his house or keep the kingdom in order. So Riddhi is, she manages everything, and Siddhi is goddess of success. So these are, because he wants everyone to have peaceful, happy life. He Sukha Karta, he is called as he is a very good manager as well. So, and he is considered to be Prakash Swarup. That is, Prakash Swarup means because of his wisdom, he is an enlightened person, as enlightened as bright as sun. His wife is Saraswati. Okay, Saraswati is the goddess of wine. Okay, like speech and languages and art, are all art forms. So that is his wife Saraswati. And extremely innovative. Just now, as you heard, that he broke off his tusk. This Buddhidata and Buddhidev is very, very innovative. And as Albert Einstein has said that innovation is more important than information. Why? Because that signifies if you can innovate, then you are a wise person. So Ganesh is a great, with God of great wisdom. Now, there is one more small story about Agra Puja. What is Agra Puja? Who is the first lord to be worshipped or first one to be worshipped? You remember in Mahabharata, when Yudhishthir was doing his Rajasuya Yajna, that time, whom did they do Agra Puja? Of Lord Krishna. Okay, for the Yajna, you have to, so when you begin anything, you do the Agra Puja. So, who is the god to be worshipped first? All these gods are mighty warriors, you know. So they said, we are all important. So who is to be worshipped first? So they went to Lord Brahma and said, please tell us, who is the mightiest and who is the wisest of us all, who should be worshipped first? So Brahma said, okay, I'll think about it, but let us have a contest. You do one thing, that you all have your vehicles. You go around the universe in your own vehicles, and the one who comes first, I think I'll consider him to be fit for Agra Puja. So everyone, of course, started. Now Indra has Airavat, that is the white elephant. Somebody has Garud, Vishnu has Garud. Then, Kartikeya has peacock as his vehicle. And Ganesh has got a mouse, tiny mouse as his. Now, of course, Ganesh thought, from this, if I go on this mouse, definitely I am not going to win the race at all. So he kept thinking, he said, there must be some different way out of this. So he suddenly realized, he sat on his mouse, and near Brahma were sitting Shiva and Parvati. He went around Shiva and Parvati and again sat in front of Brahmadev, patiently waiting for all others to come back. Okay, one by one, the gods started coming back. And they, of course, thought that this law, Ganesh, must not have moved also. So they, anyway, they were happy that they would be, one of them would be declared the winner. And Brahmadev declared Ganesh as the winner, to everyone's utter surprise. How? They asked, how did that happen? He doesn't seem to have moved from here. He said, no, he is the one who actually knows what the universe is. Your parents, your all duties to your parents. Your parents know everything. They are the ones who are the best teachers for you. So they are the universe actually. And he took around his parents, knowing that they are the universe. Can you contest that? Nobody could dispute this particular logic. So it was damn good. My God. So, okay. So then what happens is, we are also the dutifulness, because whatever duties he was asked to do, he always did that. His parents were his entire world. He listens with his big ears. He sees everything with his fine, tiny eyes. You know, when you want to see something very fine, you make your eyes a little small. That way his eyes are small. So he sees everything. And with his nice, strong trunk, he can actually pick up the tiniest of the things also. So these are the things very, very important. And he's Lord of forgiveness as well. So there is small moon story, you know, like Ganesha, he has a bulky, his stomach. What does his big stomach means? Everything, the knowledge that comes to him goes inside and stays there. Whatever he listens, it doesn't go out, but it stays in his stomach. He never backbites. He never does gossiping. Does he? That's the significance of a big stomach. But about moon story, what happened was, he was going on that small mouse, and Moon looked at it and he couldn't stop smiling. He started laughing. Ganesh got a little angry. He said, what is this? So he said, he just cursed Moon that, okay, people will not look at it. Oh, now the Moon started feeling bad. People will not look at me. What is the point in shining so brightly in the night if people don't look at me? So he asked for forgiveness. Ganesh, of course, He's a forgiving God also. So he said, okay, I will make sure that I can't really take it back, but only on the day of Ganesh Chaturthi, that is Bhadrapad Chaturthi, people shouldn't look at you. Otherwise, they will inflict some bad things on them. But rest of the time, they can enjoy your beauty. So he blesses everyone. He thinks good about everyone. And he's the one who, with all this, now you know why do we worship Ganesh? Huh? He is the God who knows everything, who hears everything, who keeps everything to himself and distributes happiness. He makes sure that everyone is contented. He is a God of farmers also. So in Bhadrapad Chaturthi, when we invoke his blessings, it is for the good crop that the farmers want. So good crop means prosperity for everyone, happiness for everyone. If your stomach is full, you feel happy, isn't it? So that is why I wish Lord Ganesh blesses you all. This God of wisdom may shower all his blessings. He may remove all the obstacles in your life, provide you with auspicious beginnings and inspire your creativity and bless you with intellect and wisdom. My dear children, now you know why Ganesh. Thank you.
It was a very interesting session for all of you who actually witnessed it for the first time. And if you already knew about this particular session, then I think it is good revision for you. What we will ask you to do as a part of this activity is you must comment your understanding and your learnings from this session in the comments box that will be there on this particular YouTube video, and let us know what you thought about this. With that, I, Rotarian Apoorv Kangar, the Youth Director for Rotary Club of Bombay West, along with Dr. Kavita Rege, our very much appreciated Rotarian. Thank you for listening to us, and I thank you, Dr. Kavita, for joining us for this particular session. It was a great, insightful session to have your time to listen to the whole Ganesh and understand why Ganesh. With that, we will come back again soon with another talk on this with a new topic. But with that, thank you very much and stay safe and be positive. Thank you.